Salutations, nerds. We're watching the MCU at all its glory.
Welcome back to Phased Out, everybody, the show that is designed to make Nick hate Jared and I, although I think with this movie it's not going to work so much. We are watching through the MCU, as Jared said, to track with it, and we're just so tired. Anyway, this week we watched the new movie, Thunderbolts, asterisk, the
new
Avengers.
And it's not even that new of a movie anymore for how long it took us. But it filled the void.
Yeah. I remember...
Oh.
Damn it, Jared. Damn it.
Keep going.
Anyway, yeah, Florence Pugh's in this, so it's good. I remember seeing an article...
We haven't recorded together in a while with Nick, so this is going to be a whole episode.
I remember seeing an article come out like soon after it was released, and it was like, "Oh my gosh, Marvel just changed the name of the Thunderbolts, blah blah blah, to the New Avengers, blah blah," and they were all getting this like rage bait thing going, and then I didn't know because I didn't watch the movie for a while. That's the stupidest rage bait I ever read. Stupider than any Switch 2 rage bait that's come out recently or anything like that, man. I just people. Anyway,
but they did that reveal, like there's Florence Pugh trying to rip off the thing. They did that like a week later after it opened. I was like, that's way too early. I mean, how many people who weren't going to see it are now interested because everyone's like, hey, it's actually good. And then you just spoiled the movie, kind of.
Yeah, like even before like they did that, they were ripping it off of billboards in like California and stuff, completely letting everybody know what the asterisks meant before even getting a chance to see the movie.
Oh, was that so? There was like an actual thing.
Yeah, like they had billboards up for the Thunderbolts, and then they were replacing it with like half of it would be the New Avengers, and then like the end of the Thunderbolts would still be on there.
See,
but they did it like 4 days after the movie came out.
Okay. I did not know that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like a week. They couldn't wait like a month. Like, it was like right away. I was like, why are you doing that?
Well, to be fair, a month in, nobody's seeing the movie anymore, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair.
Rarely any people saw the movie to begin with.
Shame.
Yeah.
It's the best movie they've had since... You're going to say Guardians 3. I'm going to say Homecoming.
Endgame. I'm just kidding.
Homecoming?
Sorry. Not Homecoming. No Way Home. Stupid naming franchise. I can't even...
Sounds like a skill issue, Jake. Honestly.
I'll cop to that.
So the Thunderbolts. So Nick,
yes.
You're our resident Marvel expert. How much do you know about the Thunderbolt comics?
Very little. It's not one that I regularly read. I don't think I've actually ever read a Thunderbolts comic. Yeah, so not much. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be Thunderbolt Ross as the leader, but he's in prison.
Yeah, he's on the raft.
He's on the raft with his daughter in a new body.
Yep, and no mustache.
No mustache. Not president anymore.
Yep.
Man, poor Harrison Ford really went through it in that movie.
He really did.
Yeah.
So he's there. So why are they called the Thunderbolts? Oh, the soccer team.
The soccer team,
That's
yeah.
it. It's been a while since I've seen it at this point.
Yeah, you saw it at like a midnight release sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think Jared and I actually were at the same screening, and I think that's the only time I saw it too. I've seen bits and pieces here and there again, but...
I saw it like a week ago.
Oh, lucky. It's still fresh in your mind.
And it's, actually good, so it's not like having to remember that it's a sequel to Black Widow.
Yeah. I would actually... I wanted to see it again because so much time had passed since I saw it where it's like, oh, I don't think am I going to remember it well enough? But then I was like, I actually kind of want to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
It surprised me how good it ended up being. I was not expecting it to be bad. I was just kind of not sure what to expect.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those movies. So, like, you remember, did you ever have the feeling in, like, District 9 where the dude that you end up following for the entire movie, you think that he's going to be like a secondary character, like something's going to happen to him and then it's going to switch off of him. I had that feeling for like the first quarter of the movie with Bill Pullman's son. What's his name?
Lewis.
Lewis.
But it's Bob.
Bob. Yeah, I had that vibe with him for the first like quarter of the movie.
Well, when we get down into that vault and he's just there because they show that they knock over the thing he was in, I go, okay, so he's got to be some secret government something. So I was like waiting for it because they set it up, but it's like I just wonder what is it going to be.
Yeah, but the way they introduce him, it's like the way they would introduce a cameo character.
Yeah, well, he's just a guy outside of his powers. He's just a normal guy.
He's just Bob.
Just Bob. Very, very good ensemble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the cast in this.
Yeah, we can forget about Bob for a second and talk about the rest of them.
What about Bob? What?
Yeah, what about Bob?
So Florence Pugh is the main character. Very good actor in her own right already, and then has already been introduced, and we last saw her in Hawkeye, right?
No.
Something after that. I don't remember what.
It was a post-credit scene. I think she was in a post-credit scene. Well, Black Widow was after Hawkeye, wasn't it?
No.
Mm-mm.
I think it's the same year or the year
No,
before.
'cause
year before.
There was something else. There was something else we saw her in.
Because Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character gave her the info on Hawkeye in the post-credits of Black Widow.
Yep. At the
Okay.
cemetery.
In the cemetery.
And then Hawkeye happens, but I don't remember seeing her in a.
I thought we had, but I might be mistaken.
I don't remember. The point is she tried to kill Clint, and then didn't in that show. I hardly remember that show.
Nope, it was Hawkeye.
So it had been a couple years, about 2.5, because Hawkeye was late in the year. It's about 2.5 years since we've seen Yelena, and she's struggling emotionally, feeling by herself. But she's got the best character in the movie as her good old dad driving limos. He's so funny in this movie. David Harbour as Alexei.
I definitely preferred him in this movie versus Black Widow. I found the humor of it much less insufferable.
Well, when you start Black Widow with a very serious opening sequence, and then you have the Nirvana cover, edgy, grungy opening credits, and then all of a sudden when he shows up again, he's this big, loud, bubbly, funny, goofy guy. It's like, are we trying to be super serious? Like, you can have both, but nothing in this movie was like goofy or fun before that. That I remember. I try not to remember that movie too much.
Except for that she can't punch him because he stinks.
Oh, yeah, the B.O.
That's
right.
the part you like.
That's so dumb. But yeah, David Harbour in this movie, they don't make him insufferable, and he actually the probably the big emotional moment before the climax is him talking to Yelena on the street there. And Florence Pugh also gets credit for that. They both, that's like the heart of the movie right there, I think, is between them where we don't even know, they might have dropped a line, I can't remember, about where Rachel Weisz is there, the mother, quote unquote, of the family.
I don't recall them ever even mentioning her. Could be wrong. Again, it's been a few weeks. But, yeah, they kind of just forgot about everything else that went on in that movie.
Except Taskmaster, and I did not see that coming.
It's great that all of our characters are like rejects, but they're also all from really bad movies.
Yeah.
So it like fits the characters that they're also in terrible movies and finally came together in a good movie.
Yeah.
Or a series as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
Wyatt Russell, his character.
And I enjoyed that series. It had its issues. I really liked him in that series.
We're talking about Captain Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so John Walker, right?
I do like his character.
Yeah.
His character here was much better than
in Captain
Falcon.
That one scene in his that when they go into all their heads.
Mm-hmm.
We just get that one sequence where he's kind of emotionally distant from his family. And then the reveal is he and his wife have separated later. So it's like, okay, there's that payoff. He's less of a focus in those going into their backstories than the others, but I'm glad they did. Like it was effective when they used it, and then when you get the payoff to that is he's been talking up about his family, but he's not even with his family anymore.
Yeah, I think when it comes to those like little flashbacks and things, I think we got just the right amount. Like I would have hated if we had to go through Ghost's background and Red Guardians and Bucky's.
Well, I mean, a lot of those we've already gotten. Like a lot of Ghost's
whole
background
story
we've sort of gotten.
Yeah, we don't. Well, what else do you do?
But I am glad that they brought her back because she's a good
Lawrence
character.
Fishburne dying.
Yeah, what happened to him? When he say what was the last thing? The last scene we saw Ghost before this was him saying, "I'm not leaving you." Mm-hmm. What is her first name? Ava.
Yeah.
I am not leaving you. It's like, okay, and then this movie he's not even brought up.
Yep.
Which is fine. No one remembers. I forgot Lawrence Fishburne was in the MCU until last year when we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. I remember that. Just like, oh yeah, he's in this. Oh yeah, what's his name? Like Bill or something.
Something like that.
And he's like a
Bill
former
and
partner.
Bob and
yeah. So it's then of course Bucky's in this, and he
is a senator.
Still, on the ongoing thing we've said is he's still not really much of a character, but he fits the group well. Yeah. And I was telling Jake off camera, I really like the limo chase sequence where he takes out the convoy. You go, hey, that was pretty cool, and then he takes out the limo. You go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, it reminds me because he's now a senator. It's like this is like Jimmy Stewart in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where there's a problem. So what is it? Like in Jimmy Stewart's case? Oh, he's being made fun of by other senators. So what does he do in a quick little montage? He walks around Washington and he beats them up. I go, that's the 30s. Yeah, so Bucky's the first senator since Jimmy Stewart to actually go out and get something done.
Probably not wrong.
No. But who's another? I think I'll say underrated because I haven't seen too many people talk about her. Maybe I am wrong. Is Mel in this movie? I am going to pronounce her name the best I can. Geraldine Viswanathan. Is that how you say it?
That's how I'd say it.
Yeah, very good in this.
Yes, especially when the person that she's doing most of her acting with is probably my least favorite character in this movie.
Yeah,
and I think,
and I love Julia Louis.
Me too, but I've hated everything she's done in the MCU so far.
She's not really done anything.
I know, but it's been enough for me to not like it.
So Valentina, and the post-credit scene of Black Widow, she's in Captain Falcon a little bit.
Yep.
She is a small part of Wakanda Forever because she's Ross's
ex-husband,
Everett
ex-wife.
Ross. Yep. So she's part of that movie. I think that's she's in Hawkeye too, right?
I don't remember her in Hawkeye. I could be wrong, but I don't remember her there.
I'll see.
Because I think Florence Pugh just shows up, does her thing, and I don't think she ever has any contact or anything with her.
Yeah, I don't. Nope, she's not. Okay. So that's the thing. They built her up to be very important, and she is important because she put the new Avengers together.
She's like the key to the movie,
and she created Sentry /
But I hated every scene she was in. Unfortunately.
Not a great character.
Why?
I feel like, well, she's too jokey for everything that she's doing. Like, I get she's not trying to be jokey, but I can't see Julia Louis-Dreyfus without thinking everything she's saying is a joke. And her character is just annoying. Just very obnoxious. Don't like her. Just felt like every time we were with her, like I was a little more checked out of the movie.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't think she's bad. I do kind of think like, yeah, not very effective.
Yeah,
I guess is the best way to say it. But who is effective, and all he has to do is just mug is Lewis Pullman.
Yeah, which
bringing it all back to him.
I don't like how the Sentry looks.
Like his suit,
in like the orange, goldish.
Yeah,
suit.
like just kind of him in general. I just don't. Lewis Pullman looks weird in the suit, in my opinion.
But the
Don't know why.
Void stuff
Great.
is great.
I also think the Sentry stuff is great. I think his performance is phenomenal. There's just something about the look that it just seems like a kid in a costume.
So, I have never seen The Boys, but the Sentry, like the design of it, very much gave me what I understand of. Is it Homelander?
Homelander.
The president one?
Yeah, so Sentry has, like Homelander, his issues, but Sentry isn't weirdly attracted to the bosom of a mother. I'll say that much. Homelander's got weird childhood issues that stem from that, whereas Sentry, Bob, it's much more like traumatic upbringing.
Yeah.
But they are very similar in that they are
I just kind of meant in
nearly
the look.
impossible to.
I just kind of meant in look.
Yeah, it's kind of that Superman-esque.
Yeah.
Homelander is the Superman of the Boys universe. Sentry is the Superman of the Marvel universe. Do you have anything to add about Sentry? Because I'd never heard of Sentry. They show the logo in the movie for like the belt thing, and I was like, that means nothing. What is that? But then other people were like, they're bringing Sentry. Like when we were there, I heard a couple people say that. So what do you know about Sentry?
Some. Sentry was created in 2000, I believe.
Okay.
But he was written in a way where he always existed in the Marvel Universe. So, like, his history's all there as if he was a part of the Marvel Universe the entire time, even though he's a relatively new character. He's pretty spot on to what he is in the movie. He's a guy who's got crippling depression and a lot of issues from his past, and he gets this new power, but it kind of splits him in two between the Sentry and Void. Sentry spends a lot of his time trying to clean up the mess that the Void make, and like the stronger Sentry gets, the stronger the Void gets, type thing. But yeah, Sentry is basically unkillable, all powerful, and kind of crazy, very crazy. Literally.
So Deadpool is no longer Marvel Jesus.
No,
It is now Bob.
Sentry. Yeah,
It is
Bob.
now Bill Pullman's son.
What's his name?
Lewis?
Yes. The whole movie, and you said this too, Jake. The whole movie, I'm sitting there like, I really like this guy. He's doing a good job. He's got this like vulnerable face and feeling around him, and like, why does he look so familiar? You get to the end credits. Oh, that makes all the sense in the world. And I go, let me look up to make sure. Yup.
When you see
Perfect sense.
when you see the name too, you're like, that's why his face looks so familiar.
Yeah. There's a lot of Nepo babies in this movie.
Yeah, Wyatt Russell being the other one.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep.
Like, there's a few of them.
Yeah.
Wyatt Russell, Kurt
Russell's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does not look like him that much.
He looks exactly like him, in my opinion.
It's like partially his face, but it's like, because is Goldie Hawn? No, not Goldie Hawn. Is Goldie Hawn his mom?
I believe so.
He looks more like her, but you can tell it's both. It's one of those, like, it's like all of us. Like, yeah, you look like your dad, but I can see your mother as well. Like, I don't know about you. Who do you look more like?
I look more like my mom's side. When I was skinny, I looked exactly like what my uncle did at my age.
Okay.
So I guess in that capacity, I look like my grandfather on my mother's side.
Gotcha. I had a weird, this is unrelated to Marvel, but related to what you're saying. At my parents' anniversary celebration yesterday, as we're recording this, my aunt was like, "You look just like your cousin." He's my second cousin, and we're about the same age. And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know, like I remember what he looked like back in the day. But then she showed me he was always skinny, so he's a little chunkier. He doesn't have as long of hair as me, but it's longish. He's got the beard. And she showed me a picture from like a couple months ago, and I went, "Oh, that's like." That's really close. And she said, yeah, you both have this side of the family's look. Yep. So I had one of those moments. I was like, yep, I look more like my mom's side than my dad's side.
Yeah, same here. Say outside of my black hair, which comes directly from my dad's side, everything else is my mom.
Yeah. It's always funny too when you see when you know someone and then you see a family member with them, you're like, oh my gosh. Like, I can see it. Even if they don't quite look like them, there's certain ways people look like their family members that aren't even in the face. Just I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Someone smarter than me can explain it.
Well, that's not me, so.
I think you're smarter than me.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, then I'm smarter than you there.
See, that was a
'Cause
smart
that's the
thing.
only
That was the
answer
smart
to
way to go,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I told you were smarter than me. This is a good movie.
It is a good movie. I think this is how visual effects should be done.
Yes.
They suit the vibe, and they also enhance the story, which also it feels very personal and very much like the powers at Marvel that be let. Who directed this or who wrote this?
Jake Schreier, I believe it's pronounced.
How do you not know, Jake? They had a whole ad where it's like from the writer of this movie,
Robot
and
and
the
Frank.
director of this movie, and the
Paper
music composer
Towns.
of this movie. And hey, Florence Pugh was in Midsummer.
Okay, this is someone who worked on Beef, the miniseries on Netflix, right?
Yeah, and
Which I've heard is good.
I think the effects were some of the guys from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay.
Say they have a great, like, not just cast, but like the production crew are all very good, and you can see it throughout the movie. Like, they definitely got people who knew what they were doing and worked well together.
Yeah, that whole shadow thing it doesn't look, when it's overtaking the whole city, it doesn't look 100% perfect, but it's darn.
It looks a lot better than it could.
Perfect. Like it's not at the level of Endgame, in my opinion, but it is close. It is the best use of visual effects in Marvel since Endgame, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that includes No Way Home.
Yeah. Or some of the Doctor Strange cool little touches.
Yeah, because the mirror dimension in No Way Home was good too, but
Which it's a Doctor Strange thing, so that's when they do.
Yeah.
That's when they put effort into their effects. You can tell. And this movie is a much more smaller, grounded one. And as I told you, and I've talked to a lot of people, there's one sequence in this movie I don't think looks good, special effects wise, and it's Sentry's little coming out party. It doesn't look great, and that's I remember sitting there in my head go, that's where they got the money for the Cap reshoots.
It was a cool scene.
I
like the way they handled it and everything, but it looked a little wonky.
I was going to say they do have to communicate to the audience that he is kind of all powerful.
Yeah.
I think part of it is there's a weightlessness to it, and not in terms of he's that strong, more of when they're getting tossed around, there doesn't feel like there's weight to them hitting things as much. Because him flicking them like a bug is how it's supposed to be conveyed, but when he's like spinning around in slow motion and just doing all this, it's real smooth. I'm like, is it bad if like Man of Steel does it better over 10 years ago for stuff like that? Where if it's one thing I will give Man of Steel, I do like the movie, it knows how to get the weight of Superman mostly. The end of the movie, as everyone talked about, is divisive, but that was the one sequence of Thunderbolts where I was like, okay, that doesn't look as good, but everything else I really liked. And now you mentioned the shadows. How about Alexei saving that little girl and then right away, goo,
I know.
And now that we know, okay, everyone
it still
does come back, but I was like, oh.
That ripped my heart out. Like, I was like, hold on.
Well, and it's one of those things like people always say like, oh, like there's no weight in the MCU in general because nobody's ever going to die or come back, or like that every death is kind of
everybody's
meaningless.
everybody's in Valhalla.
Right. But in that moment, like, you felt it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it hit you hard.
Well, and it's not even a person that we knew.
Yeah.
It's just,
hey, you kill a kid, people care.
I guess.
Just like John Wick, you kill an animal, people care.
Yeah. It's right after one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's them pushing over that big slab of road. It's great. It's so simple. It's just them pushing, but it's all them working together and those big slabs of road are actually really heavy, and none of them are these big, ultra powerful beings.
I mean, Bucky and Alexei both have super soldier serum.
And Walker.
Walker
did take the serum. It's
so
implied.
you have 3 super soldiers.
But that thing is
who
big.
have all like lifted cars at this point.
I did get the thought when like when Ava and Yelena help, I go, I don't know how much that is really helping.
I love the taco shield jokes.
Yeah.
They're some of my favorite. Hey, at the end when he goes, "Hey, Bob, will you bend this back?" "Oh, I can't." "What?"
I also like, "You will be so full, you'll be so filled," is like perfect, like broken in English from Big Russian guy.
Yeah.
You'll be so full, you'll be so filled. That was making me like, it was funny. Without there, I don't remember there being any big egregious jokes undercutting things. They actually let serious stuff play out to be serious.
Because the jokes felt pretty natural. Like, Alexi's a goofy, funny guy, so having him do most of the comedic stuff, but like not making him actual jokes, you're laughing because he's a silly guy. Like, even when he's being serious, he's a goofy dude.
And they could have made him, because they kind of make him a bit incompetent in Black Widow, which I guess I can see what they're trying to do, but at the same time, you want to power scale the guy, and then they cut him out of the plan at the end because they know he'd mess it up. It's like, I get it, but you build up this cool family unit, and then you don't utilize all of them. Like, they did not use him well in that movie.
No, they used him like a sitcom character where he's goofy dad who...
Which works here, where he actually does stuff. Like, I love how when they escape from the vault and they're out in the desert, and I go, he's coming. You know, you just feel, and then you see him driving over the horizon. I was like, is that? And she's like, oh, no. And, go in! Just him screaming was so funny.
I think you just like yelling. You just laugh at yelling.
Yeah, if it's done well.
Especially
I think we
in
mentioned
Russian.
that. We talk on if any of you tune into our bite-sized series for us watching Lost, I'll mention how yells and screams, when done well in media, really get to me. And David Harbour's very good at yelling.
Yeah.
And him just not only the yelling is already funny because the joke is she doesn't want to. She's embarrassed by this, and he's out there, but him yelling like he's that late to the party because we know he's coming.
Right.
Because remember, he leaves figuring out what's going on, but he's so late.
Literally a day late. Like, it's the next day.
He drove his limo all the way out there. What was the it was Red Guardian limo service. I thought there was like a little
I'm sure there is
tagline to it, but I can't remember. He's just so funny. But then also again the scene in the street with Yelena is like the tenderest moment of the whole movie, and I was actually feeling it a little bit because it takes stuff from Black Widow and makes it mean more. It doesn't make that movie any better, but it puts a little bit more weight onto these new characters. Which
it's very similar to like Endgame, where Thor's back on Asgard and you get extra context to his mom's death and how she sees it coming, like she knows what's in store for her, and like it just makes that movie a little bit better, even though it's a bad movie.
Yeah, and we had a movie and a half that she's in, quote unquote. She's not in it that much, but it's like she's alive and a part of a movie and a half. And we got more for her character in that one like 3-minute scene with him than we did in all like 9 minutes of screen time she had over 2 movies. Because even the scene with Malekith, it's like, wow, I really like Rene Russo in this role, and I like this scene. Why don't either of them do anything else in this movie?
Like, she's a good actress, and Christopher Eccleston is a great actor, but they don't use Christopher Eccleston.
They don't use either of them. And Eccleston, it's like, yeah, this is his one movie that he's in, and it's such an interesting character in concept that they don't use, but she was in another movie.
Yeah.
And a pretty integral part of that movie's world, and we have not used her. So when they fix those little things where it's like, we're not fixing the movie, but we're making us care more about this character.
Yeah, we're just raising it up a little bit, giving the character the respect they deserve. Especially when you cast such like big actors in these roles and then don't utilize them.
Yeah, looking at Bill Murray in Quantumania. Why is he in this movie? He doesn't even do anything with the plot.
Because he wanted to be in the MCU, but didn't want to
do
have
anything?
to sign
A multi-film contract.
Yeah, he didn't want to have to sign a multi-film contract.
Every time I think about him, he's literally there to say, I slept with Janet, and I called the feds.
Yep.
That's like it. And it's like, why is it Bill Murray? This could have been anybody. And then he gets a pretty unceremonious death.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even see it up close.
Didn't
He's
he
just gone.
Die by a squid or something?
They made the alien, whatever, quantum realm creature thing big, and it like swallowed him, but it's not even in the focus of the shot. It's like off to the side. We see him get grabbed, and then it's just like over here as he's getting pulled in. I go, what is the point? But here, it makes me wonder if I was stupid enough to go back and watch Black Widow a third time, won't happen.
Yeah.
It's like, this movie won't be good, but I wonder if certain things for those newer characters will change, knowing what comes later.
Yeah, speaking of Black Widow, poor Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they didn't even put her on most of the marketing materials and posters, we all knew what was going to happen. But, man, she did not get much screen time, even for the scene she was in.
Yeah, just shot right to the head, right?
Yeah.
And that was it. And I go, I think I was waiting for a couple minutes, like, how do they undo this? She's on all the promotional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the poster. What? And I go, oh, no, that's it.
Yeah, I love Yelena's line, like, well, she killed lots of people. It was her turn.
Yeah. Didn't she also say she had a pretty bad, what was it? She had a rough life. And I go, it makes sense. It's like, maybe it is better that she's not around her, because she had pretty awful existence. Cool idea. And Taskmaster's actually in the comics, right?
Yeah.
We probably talked about this last year when we mentioned Black Widow, but I remember a lot of people were not happy about how Taskmaster was handled in the previous movie, and also how we even said here it's a squandered attempt at backstory overlap between her and oh my gosh,
Natasha.
Yes, it's been a while since I've said her name, but and in this movie it's the one scene.
Yeah.
But do you have much of an attachment to Taskmaster in the comics?
Yeah, Taskmaster's great. He's very quippy and funny and clever and like real fun. Also really cool because he can mimic everybody's powers. But in the sakes of trying to not reveal that Taskmaster is a woman in the movie, they decided to make them silent, completely quiet. Didn't have a line of dialogue until the very end. It just wasn't Taskmaster. The outfit was cool. The ability usage was kind of cool.
Is it kind of like what they did with Deadpool in X-Men
Yes.
Origins, but not the first half, the second half
Yes,
when they
100%.
the mouth is shut? It's like, that's not Deadpool.
Yeah, it's like you just didn't understand the character and just used the character to put in your story because you had nothing else to do. Like, you didn't want to actually use the character, but you needed somebody, so you just pulled somebody out.
Yeah, and then this movie, she gets, 2 lines?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, stay out of my way or something. Takes the helmet off.
It
and
was
I was
like,
like, oh.
stay out of my way and I'm not here for you today or something like that.
Very. I think I caught on pretty quick in that scene. I go, okay, yep, she got sent down so they could all take each other out, and if not, they all get incinerated. Okay. It's a fun first act to have, like, they all meet here, and they kind of have to rely on each other to get out.
I'm honestly surprised how much time we spent at the bunker.
We did spend a lot of time.
That's what I was just going to say is, did anyone feel like that was a long first act?
But, like, it was pretty welcomed. Like, it gave us time to, like, understand where these characters are currently, how they're going to get along with each other, what their power sets are again, because, I mean, who remembers Ant-Man 2?
I do, because that's
one of his favorites.
No, it's not. I just remember it because everyone watched the movie just for the mid-credit scene. That's it. I did feel we were at that vault or whatever they call it pretty long time, and then I think it's because you have this big area you're in for a long time, and then you end it with there's another action sequence once they get up there, and then they have to escape. So it's like compound sequences in this one location, because that's like halfway through the movie by the time we get to the desert when we get picked up by
we
Alexei.
spent 15 minutes just watching them climb an elevator shaft.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Them just bickering about who's doing what, the power struggle. It's phenomenal. I really like this movie a lot.
So remind me, they get out of there, they get picked up by Alexei, Bucky captures them, but then Bucky realizes what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, because he gets called by, what's her name's assistant?
Mel. You're talking Mel.
Yeah, he gets called by Mel, and it just confirms everything they're saying.
Yep, I like how they're just sitting there. He, wound, wire, metal around a couple of... It's really funny.
Yeah.
So what happens? I'm trying to piece it all together because I remember there's the scene with Sentry throwing him around, and then the Void stuff starts when they hit the fail-safe button on him, and then everything in the street sequence of them saving people, which is something Marvel's been criticized for a lot.
Yep.
What happens between Bucky capturing them and Sentry's coming out party?
We get the scenes with. Is it Allegra DeFontaine?
Well, Allegra, isn't that a medicine?
It is. What's her name?
Oh, it is Allegra. Valentina Allegra DeFontaine.
Okay. Valentina,
yeah. Allegra is
we get the scene with her trying to, talk him up, being you were chosen.
How do we get to that point? I'm trying to put the pieces together again.
Isn't there, a hearing or something that we see her at?
There's that.
With the guy that is at the party and the one that's, talking with Bucky.
Yeah.
Or they're investigating her behind the scenes.
It's in my head, Bucky is with them in that garage, and then
that's before
and the next
coming
is
out party.
Yeah, and the next is Sentry laying in that bed as Valentina convinces him. How did we get there? This has been a while. I'm trying to remember how we got there. It's 10 minutes of the movie tops. It's not that much, but it's the connecting thread I'm missing.
I don't even remember them capturing Sentry.
He stayed behind. That's it. Remember
when he flew up into the sky?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's it. That's okay. So it's directly from there to that, because I was like, wait, wasn't he? No, he wasn't with them. He decided to be the distraction while they drove off. Okay, that's what I was missing.
Okay.
It was very interesting for me because I had no idea who Sentry was from the comics. So when bullets start bouncing off him, you always figure that there's a Superman equivalent in both Marvel and DC. There's multiple Superman equivalents in DC itself. So
yeah, there's multiple in Marvel too.
Yeah, but
Adam Warlock.
When he is getting shot by them and bullets start bouncing off, I'm like, who is he supposed to be?
Marvel
Bob.
Jesus.
I guess.
Is his name Robert Reynolds? Yes. Robert Reynolds.
Who's that?
Bob.
Oh.
That's his name.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an actor in the movie. I was like, what character does Robert Reynolds play? And who is he?
Bob. I do love how Bob at the end is just kind of sitting chilling and he does their dishes.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And they're awful sponsored uniforms. Who was it? I was talking to someone and they didn't like how abrupt it was where they walk through that thing after Valentina and she has the press. Oh, I know that makes perfect sense. She recognized the opportunity and realized, hey, these pretty powerful beings are going to hurt me.
I kind of agree with that sentiment of it just goes from all this dramatic, heart-wrenching stuff we go through, and then all of a sudden, movie's over. Here's a little press conference thing. We're done.
Yeah, I was gonna say I liked it. I didn't dislike it, but I definitely didn't expect that to be what happens when they walk. Because I don't know if it didn't register initially that it was a curtain, or if it was just a wall that she was standing by, or what it was. But it definitely was oh, that's what's going on. And they did that to Spider-Man too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love how when they instantly Alexei is waving because he's used to this, and the others are all confused, but he just goes with it because it's yes, this is the glory.
You relate to Alexei a lot, don't you?
He's just a big goofy guy. I like big goofy guys.
That's why you relate to him. You're a big goofy guy,
but not in the kind of annoying way in Black Widow like he made him, but in actually a good character.
Man, it helps that David Harbour is just a fun guy to watch.
Yeah,
like just overall, everything I've seen him in, he's just so fun and enjoyable to see on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's arguable that I think we already said it, but in Black Widow, he was just a different character to begin with. And there's an argument to be made of, would you love him as much in this movie if he wasn't the way he was in Black Widow?
Yes.
Probably just comes down to the writing.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but the best part of the writing for Black Widow is when is it Yelena that he goes to talk to in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That right there. If that relationship wasn't established in that, albeit terrible movie, would it have had the same impact in this one?
I think we talked about then, like, the best parts of Black Widow are the family dynamic.
Yeah.
But it takes them half the movie to put the family back together, and then they don't really do much with it.
And then the whole movie, this is going to be Scarlett Johansson's last MCU thing. So
for now.
Yeah. But at that time, so they're building up this whole relationship in that movie. They then just
rip it away.
It goes nowhere. So
which can work.
Yeah.
But it's just not done very well.
No.
Because it's supposed to set the tone for, it's a passing of the torch to Yelena being that kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
And we still, in this movie especially, it's not just Natasha being on, she feels isolated and alone. And that's where we all felt like that. We all can connect to that. So, and I think the first was pushing at the end, especially my sister's gone, and we had just kind of made up. And then that's what it's part of Hawkeye is, but we don't really feel it until that moment in this movie where she finally talks to someone about it.
Was the whole reason in Hawkeye that she wanted to kill Clint was she thought that
he was responsible?
He was responsible
because that's what Valentina told her. Here's
the
man responsible for Natasha's death.
Okay, then I do remember more of Hawkeye than I thought I did. And I remember it was at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And Haley Steinfeld is I'm going to call
Kate
her Hot
Bishop.
Girl because I don't know.
Kate Bishop. You can't say Hot Girl. That's a DC character, right?
Yeah.
She's going to be in the
James Gunn Superman. Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for that movie.
I'm extremely excited for that movie. It actually looks like Superman finally. Superman saves people.
What?
Did you guys know that?
Well, yeah. When he
just-
returned, he saved people. I mean, he broke a bunch of people's ankles when he stopped that plane, but he set it down nice and steady. That's a rough. There are sequences of that movie that I think are pretty decent, and I really like him stopping that plane. And but that shot of the people's ankles getting crushed.
Yeah. That movie works so much better on paper than it does because that. Not to get off on this tangent.
No, we can get off on this tangent.
But that plan of Lex Luthor's is kind of brilliant and really compelling. And then they have Kevin Spacey do Kevin Spacey things. And
says, kryptonite. That.
Yeah, and so then it's I don't even care. And then the whole, Superman having a son is a compelling,
and Lois moved on.
Yeah, they made a whole show about it.
It's a lot of good ideas and the most bland, boring execution.
It's also a very 2005 movie.
Yes, it is. And I think the problem with it is, I'm trying to think, because there are plenty of movies that have too much action. That one doesn't have nearly enough. It's 2.5 hours.
Superman doesn't throw a single punch in that movie.
That's right. And some of the
also
the machine gun scene and shooting his eye is really cool, but
it was also in the trailer. So the one cool thing
was that also to mirror Christopher Reeve's Superman though, because it only came out 3 years after his death or 2 years.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a continuation of that story.
Yeah, well, and you can't fault Brandon Routh for.
Oh no, he did.
He was a wonderful.
Yeah.
He did what they told him to do. So.
He looks the part.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds the part. He doesn't have anything interesting to do in that movie. Yeah. And that's the problem with those OP characters is if they're untouchable, then how do
interesting?
Yeah, and Thunderbolts does it very well because not only the split personalities and whatnot, the trauma and exploring that, and how sometimes we just need a hug.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're also not talking about like the same sort of character, because Thunderbolts, they're not good characters in the way that Superman is a good guy or whatever.
Yeah, I will say, Billy, did I already say? I can't remember now about how Sentry is this all-powerful being and they can't beat him punching. I said that earlier, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, I might have said it to him off camera, and if I'm repeating myself,
you did say that to me before we started recording.
Just I like how, and the writers have said it. I think Feige even said it. This ragtag group of people cannot beat this all-powerful person.
Yeah.
He throws them around like rag dolls. So they win by hugging him.
Yeah.
By
getting there for him. Compassion.
I was going to say, they don't even win by hugging him. They win by hugging the other half of him.
Yeah.
Because he's punching him. That's right. He's finally lashing out against this part of him he doesn't like, but they don't try to defeat this part of him. They try to just
save the good part.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we got to talk about that last sequence, too, when she goes into the void. That's so good. That's the... That whole last quarter of the movie is just so good. It's so simple because...
You're saying the woods,
and then going through the house, like the Rubik's Cube stuff.
Then the office.
And all it is just like camera turns and them knowing when to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's... Oh, why can't more Marvel be like that?
I was actually feeling it too, when she goes up and then she just hugs him, and I go, that's getting to be a little bit, and then you see everyone else's arms come in. I go, yeah, it's working.
It was especially getting to me because like there is a part of the first like vault thing where she's like specifically protecting him. They did a real subtle but really good job of building up the fact that she was. How do I say it? He was important to her.
They built the connection at the beginning.
And they did a good job of it. It wasn't like, they're connected. See how they're connected? It was like normal because it fed into her desire for other connection that she didn't then have to kill or feel threatened by. And then it completed the circle with that hug. And it's just like, oh, man. Marvel's not supposed to make me smile like this.
There's just something about scenes in movies like that where just people just come together like I think you have seen it, Jay. Have you seen The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou?
I have not.
Gotcha. Without spoiling, there is a similar type scene at the end. It's not the same thing, but it's a similar feeling. And some people, we know someone who that's their favorite movie of all time, and I really like the movie. And then there are a lot of people who, especially at the time it came out, were kind of like, eh. But I don't understand how anyone can watch that movie and say Wes Anderson movies aren't emotional when that scene takes place, and it gets me a little choked up when I watch it. It's like it's such a nice, warm, tender, quiet moment.
I feel like a lot of people say that about Wes Anderson, but a lot of his movies are emotional and have those kinds of scenes. It's just surrounded by other Wes Anderson stuff.
Yeah. The Royal Tannenbaum scene that everyone posted when Gene Hackman died, where Ben Stiller says, "I've had a rough year, Dad." And he goes, "I know, Chazzy."
Yeah,
that's all it is. Because then the camera moves away. There might be one or two more lines. It's like that's such a good little moment. Yeah, and that's what I was feeling during Thunderbolts too. Like these little human moments are working. That's what they've been missing.
That's what made the MCU what it is. Like those moments in those Iron Man movies and Captain America, where like nobody's remembering like the dumb fight scene with Red Skull on the fiery bridge. They're remembering the scenes with like him and Bucky at the beginning, him and Peggy. Like it's the stuff that's not the action that like drew people and got the connections with people. We kind of lost that. The MCU's been so focused on promoting the next project or the 110 down the road or throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks. They
building the extended universe.
Yeah, this movie is just its movie. Like it's just about this movie. There's no trying to push anything further. It's just letting these characters play out this story, and I've missed that.
How do I say it? they saw that TV shows and miniseries were being successful, and they tried to capitalize on that. And you can't. I don't think you can fault them for thinking that, but I do think that it was a significant misstep to lean into that in the capacity that they did.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's too much. And even I think Feige said that afterwards when this got good reception, he was like, yeah, I feel like we haven't given focus onto the important into projects as importantly. We've been too spread out. And he said, I haven't even been too involved in a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's because they had a year off and then everything started coming out and they just pushed too much. So they've claimed they're going to pull back on how much is coming out. And we said that all last year, like there's too much. We only had one movie last year, and it still felt like too much because we had multiple shows still.
Yeah.
Did we have multiple shows last year?
I think so. Was Secret Invasion last year or the year before?
Last year.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because who watched it? Who cares? Secret
I
Invasion.
haven't watched any of the shows since Hawkeye.
Loki season 2 was last year, right?
Yeah, watched 3 episodes of that, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. So that's all part of it. So if they're scaling back a little bit and putting more,
And Agatha All Along was last year.
that's
Right.
shows.
I forgot about that
Yeah.
one
Didn't
too.
watch that either.
I did watch that one. That one is
I
actually
remember you
pretty
liked that.
fun.
Was that one as dark as they made it out to look?
There was a lot of darkness to it, but like, I'd say it's more lighthearted than they made it seem. But there is some pretty dark stuff in there.
I had a thought. It was while Jake was talking. I had a thought and I lost it. I really did.
That's what.
I don't believe
hold on. That's what happens when I talk. His mind just starts to go to static, and he doesn't hear anything I say. To be fair to him, though, it's the same thing that happens when he talks.
Which is funny because I am listening to him because I forget what I'm going to say because I'm listening to him. That's what just happened. I was listening. Like, yeah, and then you mentioned the TV thing, and that triggered this thing about what Feige said, and I was like, wait, what was I going to talk about? Because there was something. It's like, oh, okay, I remember. One of the better on paper human moments that we've had in the last couple of years is in the second Doctor Strange, but there's not good enough build up to it, and it's the I love you in every universe moment. And I was thinking about that as we were talking about it now, and it's like that's such a good line and a good moment if the movie around it's better.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier today too. They had such an opportunity to use that movie to pivot into what they were going to be doing with the multiverse thing, and they just didn't. I don't know.
And
I don't know what happened because like that, the bones of that movie are pretty good.
Yeah, there's so many good parts to that movie. It just doesn't come together to make a good movie.
I think what could have worked and what should have been done is Doctor Strange's start in the MCU is a very personal thing, and then he became the guy who knows everything after that because his brief part in Ragnarok, how he functions in those two Avengers movies, and then in No Way Home. He is the guy who knows what's up and kind of pushing other characters.
Did he kind of become the de facto Iron Man?
Kind of. Iron Man, I wouldn't say is kind of the knows everything in that capacity.
He's more the person that everybody goes to when they have an issue.
Yeah. Whereas Strange is like the smart uncle that you drive over to his house to ask a question.
Yeah.
But so then when his movie's supposed to happen, it's right after all the events of No Way Home. It's like there's a perfect opportunity to turn him back into a personal character because the guy's not a robot. He's put himself into this new life, but his old self is still in there, and that's what Christine, right? Mm-hmm. That's what Christine should be, but it's not done well because they're juggling 8 other things. Because that's what the heart of that movie should be, is he just can't let go, but he has to if for the better of everyone. But there's such a good untapped story in there that they just don't do well.
Again, it's another one of those movies that they're trying to pay off so many things. Like, oh, hey, everybody wanted John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Here we go. Oh, hey, remember Agent Carter? Captain Carter from the What If series? Here she is. Like, oh, you guys love WandaVision? We're going to make her the main villain. Like, it's everything outside of actually Doctor Strange that takes precedent in that movie. See,
but like the whole Wanda Scarlet Witch thing could have worked. Like, I don't think that part is a part that faults the movie. The Captain Carter thing, yeah.
Notice most of those are in the same sequence of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're saying, like we were talking about earlier, like I said, that scene could have explained and given context to everything that's been happening up until that point in the MCU. And it does nothing except, oh, look, it's Patrick Stewart again. Yay! And
which is also in that same part of the movie.
yeah. Or
hey, did you guys watch Inhumans? Here's Anson Mount as Black Bolt.
Yeah.
Blackagar Boltagon.
Or what's Mordo? Mordo.
Yeah.
Like
Mordo is the bear from Brave.
Isn't Mordo also the like guy that he fights at the end of Doctor Strange 1?
That's Dormammu.
Yeah.
Dormammu. Okay.
I know, a lot of weird names.
And then Mordor is Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And then MODOK is that other movie that we don't like to talk about.
Yes.
That's another one where it's like, I appreciate that it's there because that's a funny Marvel character. There couldn't have been there really wasn't a different way to do that, so it makes sense, so that it looks good. There really wasn't a better way to do that.
Full CG. Don't have it be his face. Like, make it look like MODOK in the comics. I don't know. I just hate seeing Corey Stoll's giant, weirdly CG'd face. Looks like they didn't correct anything. They literally just stretched it. It looked blurry and out of focus.
Yeah.
It's like that what you're talking about, that Photoshop job you did. But you did that.
That was intentionally like that.
Yeah, you did it intentionally and probably in like one
Yeah.
little sitting.
You didn't have multiple millions of dollars to make it.
With like 25 minutes of screen time in this giant blockbuster production.
Even if, because MODOK has like a mask in the comic, right? Like the thing flips down. They could have done that and then had like one scene where it flips up
and
shows his face, and it's like, or just anyone's face.
Yeah.
And it could have been normal, like how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did it with Kang. Just right there.
Oh, it's bad that Kang looked so much better than MODOK when they're basically the same character.
Right?
I'm still thinking about that Doctor Strange movie now, because now we
Stop.
now we bring up Wanda. It's like, wasn't Wanda's whole spiel in her first movie going into people's heads?
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't it have been cool to go into his head when he's supposed to be this like powerfully magical person?
Yeah,
and he can't let go of Christine, and we don't get any of that.
That is kind of a weird. I didn't ever think about that, but they did that in Age of Dumbtron.
Yeah.
Or what do you say?
Dultron.
Yep, there you go.
1 week of Dultron. Or
1 week of
3 days of Dultron.
Oh, you know what's bad? Ultron just got added to Marvel Rivals.
That's right.
Also terrible in that game. Take him out. He's real bad.
Does James Spader voice him?
No, I wish. It was the one good thing about Ultron in that movie.
Captain America.
I completely forgot that was her power, and it wasn't just, I control red mist to block things and push things.
Red balls of magic. Pya, pya, pya.
To ultimately just punch things.
Yeah. All the way back to Thunderbolts, though. Impressed. Happy that this was good. And I would watch it again. Other ones, it's like, I don't really want to watch it. I
kind of can't wait to watch it again.
Does it feel refreshing like some of the other ones that have been good in the sea of bad have felt refreshing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have said that too.
Like how Doctor Strange felt for you in the sea of the first Doctor Strange. Be clear about that. The first Doctor Strange felt for you in the sea of crap that it came in. Not crap, but still crap.
Yeah.
It just felt like they cared for this one.
Mm.
Yeah.
And hopefully that continues on. Like, we have Fantastic Four coming up next. It looks really good. I like Matt Shackman. I liked everything he did with WandaVision.
That's the one where everybody's saying that they got, is it The Thing, his name? Mm-hmm. They got him right finally.
Very right. He looks exactly like he does in, I think, specifically the Ultimate Comics. He's a big, goofy guy, just a fun time to be around, but like he hates what's happened to him.
I am also shocked that I've seen no comparisons between the way he looks and the way that Korg looks, because they do look very similar, and they probably were put together with a similar sort of technology, but I'm surprised I've not seen any comparisons like that.
Yeah, and the fact that like for this movie they're cutting back on the CG a little bit, and they're building practical sets. Like when Galactus is walking through New York in the last shot of the trailer, it's a
they
miniatures.
rebuilt New York.
They rebuilt New York, guys,
full size.
And they made
Rafe Fiennes.
Isn't it Ralph Innes? What's his name?
I thought you were saying Rafe Fiennes.
No.
Ralph Ineson?
Yes.
With his very deep voice.
I believe that's who's playing Galactus.
Actually, that's a really good casting choice. Who is Silver Surfer again? Sophie Turner. No.
Ozark lady.
Julia Garner. There's another one too. Another like newer breakout actress. What is her name? She was just in that companion movie.
Is she going to be? What is she in?
Not in Marvel. Like I get them mixed up. What is her name?
Unsure.
It's like oh boy.
Well, we have a chance for a series of good movies between Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, maybe is it Secret Wars?
Yeah, Sophie Thatcher.
Secret Wars comes after Doomsday, doesn't it?
It's Doomsday, Brand New Day, Secret Wars is the order, but they all got pushed back.
Okay.
So the next one is not Spider-Man.
No, the next one's Fantastic Four. Then it's Doomsday in December. From what I know, I don't even know why they pushed it back. Look at this up. If it will load.
Probably not. Here.
There it is.
Let me look it up. My internet works.
Yeah, my phone's dying. I'm going to leave it alone. You guys got it.
Yeah, no, the Brand New Day is now before Doomsday.
Okay.
It's in July still. I don't think that one got moved. So they switched.
Okay, so then Brand New Day clearly does not connect to Doomsday in a real meaningful capacity.
Well, it's in pre-production. According
Doomsday
to this,
or Brand New Day?
Brand New Day. Doomsday's filming.
I was saying, I thought Brand New Day was filming right now as well, because I thought they were filming simultaneously in the same area.
Maybe. I'm going by the status on this Wikipedia thing, so I couldn't be. But it makes sense if it was still in pre when they made that decision.
Yeah, it's the same director as the last Spider-Man movies, right?
No, Watts is not doing it. It's Destin Daniel Cretton.
Don't know him.
I've seen this name before. What have you directed? Short Term 12, The Glass Castle, Just Mercy, Shang-Chi. There we go.
Oh, okay.
That was the most recent film they did.
That kind of concerns me.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, and then it looks like the Avengers movies, as of right now, have nothing between them, and they are a year apart.
Okay.
Interesting. This is also, I think Thunderbolts, for sure, is the last film of Phase 5, but I don't know about shows, but I'll check. But this is the last bit of Phase 5, which makes sense for how this movie ends.
I think the only show that we have for the year is Daredevil, which is currently out.
Yeah, it's done already.
Is that any good?
And then, Ironheart.
I've heard mixed reviews.
Ironheart is in a couple weeks.
For some reason, I was thinking Ironheart was next year, but I guess
so Ironheart
makes sense. We have trailers for it and stuff.
So Ironheart is the end of the phase.
That might be okay.
Oh, people are hating on it already.
Ironheart?
Yeah, for dumb reasons.
Because it's a woman main character?
Yep. They're like, they're just taking Iron Man and making it a woman now.
Yeah, so it'd probably be better.
Yeah, exactly. People hated Ironheart when she came out in the comics too, but turns out
she came out in the comics really recently too. Yeah. Like I think I remember. I think that was like 2014.
Yeah, it's like 10, 12 years ago.
Is it weird to be in this?
That is 12 years ago.
Is it weird to be in this position where new stuff to Marvel Comics is now in the MCU and it was introduced after the MCU started? Is that weird to think about?
A little bit.
But when the MCU started, all of the stuff they pulled from is older than it. Now we're pulling from stuff that has become real post Iron Man. Yeah, it's kind of weird to think about.
And there's a good amount of it, like between Kamala Khan and Ironheart and Miles Morales. Like, there's a lot of like newer stuff being put out there.
I knew Miles was a fairly recent, I think 2008. I think I didn't know Kamala. How do you say her name?
Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan.
Yeah, I remember you get her mixed up with
different than
our former vice president.
Different than the former vice president, who was Kamala. Anyway, I didn't know that she was that recent. I thought that Miss Marvel was fairly classic.
Miss Marvel as a character, yes, but that's the Carol Danvers version. The Captain Marvel version was under Miss Marvel for a little while, but the Kamala Khan version is fairly recent, around the same time as Miles Morales.
Stupid universe reboots.
There are the few characters that survived the Ultimates universe.
I think the last time DC did it was Convergence, but that was at the end. That was at the end of New 52, I think.
Yeah.
Harmonic convergence.
It was kind of like that,
Dark
yeah.
World?
It is.
They did a whole bunch of like one shots with just a whole bunch of random characters that no one had ever heard of because they've not been around since the 30s or 40s or 50s or whatever. It was weird. I liked it, but it was weird.
Yeah. That's all I got on Thunderbolts.
Yes, all I got too.
Me too. Jake, do you have any questions for us?
Oh. Yeah, I got two right in the back, right in a row. Funny story because we, as you've seen maybe by our other shows, our filming situation has changed a little bit, and so now we don't have to break in the middle. So now I don't remember to ask them the questions. So first question, Jared.
Yes.
Did you happen to watch Hutch?
I
know you have it on DVD.
Nothing burps better
Hitch?
than bacon. And no, I haven't watched it yet.
Darn.
Wait, Hitch, The Cure for the Common Man?
Yes.
Never seen it.
I have that now.
Great movie.
My mom brought it home. My mom brought it home for me from that big garage sale that I get all those DVDs
right.
from. Anyway, Nick.
Yes.
Have you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? This better be better than just no.
I have a question for you, Jake.
Ooh.
I don't know if
I have an answer.
I don't know if what I have viewed will account for you. But randomly and recently, on my YouTube, I've been recommended a lot of shorts of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know why, but every time I go on YouTube, there's like 3 or 4 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. shorts that are put on my recommended page. And I have watched quite a few of those.
Nah, bro, I need you to watch the whole series again over before we meet next time.
I don't think there's enough time between now and then for me to watch even a season.
But
there
it's
are
making
84
you want
episodes
to.
a season.
It's making you want to,
Because it's ABC. It's not. Watching those clips are not making me want to watch.
It's doing the,
Agents of
doing
S.H.I.E.L.D.
the
Yes.
reverse.
I think if you step back and look at that show as the show that it wasn't as good as what everybody said it was. I think everybody got really hype about it because it was connected to Marvel at the time.
And it was the only show.
Yeah.
And people love Clark Gregg. Coulson.
Yeah. Except it wasn't even Coulson by the end of it, right?
I don't know.
Like he
I
was
never
dead.
finished it.
That's right. You don't like finishing shows. You ever going to finish Firefly?
Nope.
You haven't even seen Serenity? No, you've seen Serenity.
I've seen Serenity.
You haven't seen the last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen any of it. But I feel like I would finish it. Because it's not that long.
Yeah, it's only 9 episodes, I think.
9 episodes in a movie.
Yeah.
I have it. I haven't started it.
I have it too. I haven't taken the plastic off.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I think I gave you your copy of it.
You did.
Because someone gave me an extra copy of it.
Yeah. And now it's sitting on my shelf. And I just haven't.
You just have a wonderful collection. You have like a Belle from Beauty and the Beast library, except it's movies and not books. Do you have a ladder in your room? You should get a ladder in your room just for the visual effect.
My ceiling is not even 7 feet high.
Again, just for the visual effect of it.
That'd get in the way. There's like no room in there for a ladder.
Just for the visual effect of it.
I'll put a ladder in your room.
That
sounds like a euphemism.
Yeah, a little bit. Was there 1 or 2 post-credit scenes in this movie?
I don't remember.
I think there was
just the Fantastic Four stinger.
No, that was the mid, right?
Yeah.
And they teased the 4. Wasn't it the mid, and then the one after was a joke one?
Yeah. I don't remember what the joke was, though.
Me neither.
Well,
Type harder, why don't you, Jared?
Yeah, we heard that in our headphones, and your mic is pointing the opposite way.
And I peck. I only use 2 fingers to type.
Yeah, he is the fastest pecker in the West.
Oh, my gosh. I was going to say, well, you talk about reach. Jake doesn't reach around, but he sure does reach far.
Just call him Jake Reacher.
Jake Reacher. You're too tall to be Jake Reacher. Or short, sorry.
I don't know.
I keep thinking Tom
Jared,
Cruise.
I was I
I think I am taller than... Did we talk about...
How do you go from Tom Cruise to Alan Richardson? I'm just saying.
Well, he's supposed to be big.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a mountain of a man.
Yeah, and it's like...
Did we talk about how Florence Pugh actually jumped off of that building?
Oh, yeah, she pulled the Tom Cruise in this movie.
Yeah.
And she wanted to do... That's right. She wanted to be the one to do it. And they were, like, freaking out.
Yeah, because the insurance on that had to have been crazy.
But she did it, and it looked cool.
Yeah.
I just read that was the only... The Fantastic Four tease was the only...
Credit?
Yeah,
okay.
The only scene. Yeah, that's right. It's a mid-credit, and then there's nothing after, right?
What movie? It was Deadpool and Wolverine, because that was the last one we did, right?
No. Cap 4.
Oh, Cap 4. It must have been Cap 4 then. There was like one other person in the movie theater with me, and we waited through the entire sequence, and it like came up and was a joke. And this person like very loudly in the theater goes, "Well, that wasn't worth it, was it?"
That just makes you think of, was it Homecoming?
Homecoming, the Cap PSA thing?
Where I had to pee.
That's right.
So bad throughout the entire... Like, I felt like my bladder was going to explode. And then Cap pops up, basically saying, like...
You waited so long for something
You're
so
dumb
sweet.
to wait for this.
How many more of these are we going to do?
I was so mad.
You should have peed and come back.
You really can.
I didn't know if there was going to be mid-credit scenes. I didn't want to miss any of them.
Okay, I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, but the mid-credit scene comes after the fancy credits that are in the first 5 minutes. Once the credits start scrolling with black and white, you're good to go for...
That one's not black and white, though.
What?
The Homecoming ones. No, they do the fancy. They do the fancy ones, but then they keep the white like paper cutout with the scroll.
Yeah, but they're not. There's a clear difference between the fancy ones and the not fancy ones.
So you could have, but it is a funny story nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Guardians had 6 post-credit scenes,
and that was right before it.
Yeah, you don't know at that point in the MCU. They were going crazy with post-credits.
Yeah, but like. The Guardians that has 6 is like Guardians 3, isn't it?
2
had a bunch.
2, because we see go from Baby Groot to Teen Groot in those scenes.
Yeah. That's right.
And Kraglin trying to get the arrow working.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever get that? He did get that working in the third one, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a big character moment for him.
I wonder if that's going to be weird for him going forward, being, James Gunn's brother and not having James Gunn direct Guardians movies.
Yeah, and the fact that he's now in the DC universe as Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
Taking over. Crazy that that movie comes out right before Fantastic Four with Pedro Pascal, who was Maxwell Lord in the last universe.
Right.
Oh, nepotism.
Yeah, but I like some nepotism.
Jared has picked up the napkin.
Jared has picked up
I'm gonna buy a piece of paper one
surrogate
of these days.
napkin. The other one's over there. I forgot it.
Is there anything even on that napkin that you're currently holding? I didn't think there was.
So, listeners, in case you missed it, there was a whole saga where I threw a pile of napkins at Jared. It happened to have our socials napkin in it.
It's when we were recording with Dickie in his return, and Jake threw the napkins at me, and it knocked him on the floor. I probably told this for the Cap episode, and I just scooped them up because I didn't notice it. There's a whole bunch of napkins that someone wasted. And so then I dug through that trash and found our napkin beaten to bits. And then someone who was using the space threw it away, and I had to dig it out of the trash again. So I duct taped it.
It is
Only
now.
we had a computer or a phone.
It is now laminated with duct tape.
Well, now it's less of a napkin. Now it's just a sheet of paper that's been laminated.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and Twitter. Take that much. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our notification bell. Make sure you swing by our groovy website, and make sure you rate us and like us on all those apps as well.
All right, and with that, those are our thoughts on probably the best Marvel movie since
the last best Marvel movie,
which was not Homecoming, No Way Home, in my opinion. Probably just my opinion on that, though.
Yeah,
the Marvels.
Next movie we will be covering is the Fantastic Four, I believe.
First Steps. Yep, that's
First
July.
July.
It comes out next month. We'll see how long it takes us to actually get in the same room and talk about it, because we're over a month since Thunderbolts came out.
All right, and other than that, just come on back next time as we get more and more phased out.
Bye.
Bye.
Yours gets wiped down with a Lysol wipe every week.
Mine doesn't have a smell to it at all.
I don't know why it gets wiped down, to be perfectly honest.
Just Jared's?
Just Jared.
That mustachioed malcontent.
Oh, Nick's face is on the banner.
He has like no body hair.
Just like you.
He just had like a little bit. No, I got some body hair.
You didn't have to slide down him trying to tackle him.